What's going on, guys? So today we're doing, oops, nearly knocked the camera over there. Today we're doing a unboxing of a desoldering tool, and that is this wonderful box right here. This has been supplied by a company called RhinoTools. They're an Australian company. They sell like test equipment and electronic tools, soldering stuff, things like that. Now, what makes this different to my other desoldering station that I have, this one's for through-hole components, whereas the other one I have is for surface mount components. So, yeah, you can't really do through-hole components with a surface mount machine, and you can't do it the other way around. It just doesn't work like that. So I'm not going to give too much away about what this is and everything. We'll just take a look and I unbox it. Now, this is a custom unit made by these guys. I think they get them made in China or whatever. I don't know where they get made. And it says here that it is 220 volts 240 at 80 watts. So if you're buying one of these and you live over in 110 volt country, you'd probably have to go get a step up converter or a boost converter or whatever. It's only 80 watts, so I don't think that'd be a problem. So yeah, let's get into it. Now, it just comes in a plain box. The box it does come in is actually bigger. And it has a cool little rhino on the side. It says like, rhino. Pretty neat. Yeah, I've got some other stuff from them as well that I've reviewed. And that's on my website. I'll put a link down in the description. They're just some screwdrivers and things, which are actually quite handy. So yeah, let's get into it. So, you know, pretty plain box. There's nothing printed on it. I don't want to rip my tablecloth off, so yeah, I'll just believe me, okay? So yeah, inside we've got some lovely foam. I've already taken a peek inside here just to make sure everything was as it should be. It didn't get knocked around because Australia Post are pretty barbaric with handling items. But luckily this only got shipped not too far from my house, so yeah. So let's just refocus, because somebody mentioned to me the other day that autofocus is quite distracting, and it is. I didn't even realize I had autofocus turned on in the last video. So first up in the box we have a destruction manual, and you will need this because yeah, it's not exactly that straightforward, I don't think. I don't know. Never used one of these things before. So let's just dig in here. We've got ourselves a, looks like a cap for the air inlet for the gun. And I didn't mention before, this is, I mentioned it's a through-hole thing, but it's actually pump-driven, which is one of the best things about it. No more dicking around with stupid plunges and breaking your fingers. One of these is awesome. I'll have to read through the instructions how to set this up. I have a fair idea how to use them. Well, I know how to use it, I just have a fair idea how to set it up, so I will have a quick glance for the first time in history going through the instruction booklet. So this is the gun it comes with. It's just a neat little trigger thing. It's got a little clicky button. It's got interchangeable tips. So to change them, it's much like any other iron, it seems. I'll have to get a little wrench, undo that. But this whole thing should come off, and that tip should come out the end. It looks like it's set. It's got a 1.5 or 2 mil tip there. So that'll do most through-hole things. It's got a glass chamber here. From memory, I think JCar sells something similar, but I had a look at theirs a couple of months ago. Went in and I noticed they had a machine like this one. But this is plastic, so you know, you're sucking hot solder in there, it's going to melt. But yeah, I don't know. What else we got in here? We got this dew clicker. That looks like the holder stand thing. I will set this all up on the table and everything, do a little demo to show you, but yeah, that looks like it's something to hold onto the handle thing. I've got some replacement little filter pads and a little tube. And what else we got in here? We got some more little filter pads in a tube with plastic thing on them. I'm definitely going to have to read the manual. We've got a power lead. It's just a IEC cable. IEC? Yeah, IEC. So tettle lead, whatever they're called. Got some more of these little pads, heaps of them. And we've got some spare tips. I don't even know if you can actually see this. I don't know, I'm at a funny angle, can't see the camera. Yeah, I've got different sizes. Got a really, really small one, really big one, some more filters. So basically what I've seen of these ones, the little filter pads are to stop the tiny remnants of solder getting sucked into the pump. And that would be a bad thing. Oh, we've got some more filters, different sizes. This is probably for the unit itself. I've had something similar on my in my surface mount machine for its smoke absorber, which is a load of crap. There you go, some more there. And some more tips. Wow, this comes with everything. So it comes with some extra tip sizes. So we've got, sorry, are these desoldering tips? Yeah. They're, I think they're different shapes on the end, like a sort of like a rounded instead of flat or something. I don't know. Definitely take a look at those. Maybe they're just spare tips in case these ones wear out. Anything else in the box? No, nothing's in the box. So, oh, except for this thing. Oh, and right on the bottom there, we've got some lobotomizing tools for lobotomizing on the go. What are these? Oh, they're little files to clean out the end. One thing with one of these machines is you have to clean them each time you use it because you don't want to get it clogged up with naff. So here is the machine. Okay, so this is the main unit itself. On the front here it says RhinoTools and the model number is ZD985. We have a nice little light up, I think it's a light up display, we'll find out. Nice little display there, just LCD. Got Celsius and Fahrenheit. If you're still using Fahrenheit, I don't know what's wrong with you. Man, Celsius is way more accurate. We've got temperature, pretty bog standard. Got the inlet for the hosey pumpy thing to suck the solder through, and got a little DIN connector there, that's probably for power. And we've got, oh, we've got a sponge. The sponge is glued in. Don't know why that is. Why we glue a sponge in, and the whole tray is glued in too. I don't know how you meant to clean that. That's weird. And this is also like ABS plastic and stuff. On the side here, we've got the bottom of the stand. So I'm assuming this guy, I can get him open. This guy should just sit in like that, and the gun sits in like that. That's pretty cool. Now this thing's actually quite small. Yeah, it's quite small. I was expecting it to be a lot bigger, have a much bigger footprint on the table, but it's small. Like this is the size of my hand. What have I got around me that I can show as a comparison? Well, for you old folks out there, here's a floppy disk. It's about that size. It's small, trust me. It's about the same size as a Famicom with a disk system, if that helps, or like a Wii U, or all this different stuff. It's small, but not too small, because that would be no fun. Okay, spin it around to the back, and it's just pretty plain on the back. It's got RhinoTools. It's got the a little tick. Now, what does that tick mean? Quality assured, and it is fused, which is nice. I like things that are fused. For you people in Europe and stuff, or England, you're probably like, so what, everything's fused. No, not everything is fused over here. I think, yeah, in England, every power lead is fused or something. I can't remember. I don't know. They have weird PowerPoints. They're huge, ugly PowerPoints. Blah. Anyway, this is a 250 volt fuse, pretty standard. IEC connector, quality control passed. This isn't too heavy either. Like, I can hold this up with one hand. Nothing wrong there. So the rear, that is plastic, and it's got some fillet head screws. Let's sit it upside down, and it sits on rubber feet, which is a good thing because this uses a little a vacuum pump, so it's kind of rattly and, or I'm assuming it's going to be pretty rattly and noisy, so sitting on rubber feet will help a lot. And yeah, the front is also plastic. I thought that was metal. Maybe it's just cold. It's very cold tonight. Everything feels like metal when it's cold. So yeah, let's get this thing set up and I'll show you what it looks like. Be back in a sec. Okay, so I've been fiddling around with this for a few minutes. I had a quick fling through the instruction booklet. There's only like one piece of paper. The rest is just safety instructions, like don't blow yourself up. Okay, so these are the two bags that have these little tubes in them. They're actually replacement versions of this. So this one that comes with it is a glass tube, and it comes with this big sort of spring to catch rogue pieces of solder flying through and cool them down. And these smaller ones come with these more densely packed ones. I think this would probably work better than the big one, so I swapped it over. They come with a, yeah, they just seem like they're just replacement little reservoirs. They're made a little bit different. Maybe meant to change in between each tip or something, so they have better suction or something, but I think just using this glass one would be good enough. Guy there, and inside comes with a replacement little gaskets and things and washers, and yeah, it's pretty good. Alright, so after closer inspection and looking at some pictures online and stuff of this thing, the big springy bit is only for the newer glass piece, and these smaller ones with the more thermal mass for the plastic ones, so that probably stops them from melting when you're desoldering. So with the plastic ones, depending on like which unit you get, but I think from now all these units from these guys come with these glass ones. But yeah, so with the plastic one, stick it in there. I don't know if you can see that, and it should just sit in the bottom, and then you get your small pad. These are apparently ceramic paper or something. They're kind of shiny. They're not like a, it's not like a fiberglass or anything, so you don't have to be worried about getting stuff in your fingers. And then, oops, and then I drop it, and then you would get your springy one, so with lots of thermal mass, and that would sit in the bottom. And then all you would have to do, also there's I don't know if you can see that, but there's another little washer piece in there, one of these guys. I've already got one in there, so I don't think I need that. But anyway, so to put it in, let me just refocus this. So to install it, you just go this end, pull that out. How's this going there? Ah, from the back. Cool, so that goes in like that. And then you clip that in, and it should fit fine. The back doesn't seem to close all the way onto there. I think the O-ring would sort of stop any leaking air, but I guess you could use a bit of grease or something on the back there. And one thing you will need when you get one of these, first up, you should already have them, is a pair of pliers to get this thing off, because it was super tight. I couldn't get it off with my fingers. So anyway, so the way this one comes off is that it pulls off like that, and you've got just the bare heater core with the pipe in it. And put this down for a sec. And in there you have the little inside piece, which just goes over the end of your gun like that. And I had a quick look on their online store, and these are just spare tips that they sent me because they were nice. And it comes with 0.8mm, 1mm, and 1.3mm diameter holes. So we've got the 3 different sizes here. So I think the one I've got installed on it already is the 0.8. Yeah, that seems about right. They don't have anything written on them, so it's kind of hard to tell which ones are which. I guess once they're once you've set them up and sucked the end of the solder out of them, it'll be a bit more obvious. But so to set it up, you just get your tip, sit on there with this little sleeve on it, and like that. It's a lot like most of the other cheaper soldering equipment, like my Chinese soldering station, the SMD one. It has a little iron that comes with it. It's a 40-watt iron, and it's all held in the same way. So I'm just going to use a plastic one on this one, just because I like the idea of this larger thermal mass. Whoops, losing everything here. I like the idea of this larger thermal mass sort of spongy thingy. So what happens when the hot solder comes in through the tip here, it goes through in there and it'll hit this thing, and because this thing's got a fair amount of thermal mass in it, it'll cool down before it starts sort of like melting this tube or setting your gun on fire or whatever. Some filter pads in there. I doubt you'd have to change them. So yeah, so they sent me some extra pieces, it looks like. And yeah, so I'll finish setting this up and we can continue. Okay, so this is what it looks like all set up. So it's all plugged in there, there. This is all plugged in. I just checked this with the multimeter, and the tip mains earth referenced, whatever you want to call it, meaning that this is going directly to the earth in the wall. One of the little grievances I have with this at the moment is, well, so far, is the vacuum line and the power line for the handle aren't joined together. So you've got like these two cords just flapping in the breeze here. Just a little bit of paracord sleeving or something would have fixed that. I don't know why they're loose. Maybe they get kinked up or something. I don't know. We'll find out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to christen it by pouring some water on the sponge. Wow, expansion, amazing. I won't lie. When I got my other desoldering machine, it came with a little sponge. I'm like, what's the sponge for? It's really tiny little sponge. I think you can actually see the video, and I mention it. And I didn't realize that you had to wet the sponge. Like, this was sort of like back when I was only starting to get into like serious electronic stuff, and I'd started my new job and started learning more about sort of the service side of things rather than just breaking shit. So yeah, so we've got our 3 files here for the 3 different size tips. So I guess this is a good way of working out what size I've got. So let's have a go. So plugged in, turn it on, making a noise, making some weird noise. It says wait. Alright, I'm waiting. Sets at 280 degrees. Yep, it's heating up. This is quite slow. You probably can't see that. The viewing angle on this LCD isn't the best. But it's creeping up about 5 degrees a second, which is honestly quite slow. This is an 80-watt iron, so you'd think it'd heat up a bit faster than that. But I guess if you're used to using... starting to smoke a bit. I don't want to set off my smoke alarm. I'm not in my little workshop at the moment. Yeah, so if you're used to using just like cheapy irons, I guess. What am I saying? Yeah, if you're used to using cheapy irons, I guess you're probably used to waiting ages for it to heat up. Let's see if we can see it come out. I don't want to put my hand there in case I burn my hand. There you go, it's out now. That's quite noisy, but yeah, it's not too bad. So, actually I didn't even have to clean that with my little thing. Let's have a go. So, it's not that one. Looks like I've got the 1mm tip. Oh yeah! You don't have to clean this little canister or this little container every time you use it. Just every now and again when you sort of notice it's getting a bit full. You just clean the end of it so it doesn't get clogged up with crap. So yeah. So the sort of build quality, I only sort of quickly touched on this, but the build quality it's alright. It's only a $180 tool, I believe, and all the accessories and stuff are cheap. Like this whole handle gun piece is $30. The little barrel pieces, I can't remember how much they are. They're only fairly cheap. The replacement filters are like $1. Replacement tips are only a few dollars. And yeah, it comes with a 3-month warranty on this hand piece and a 12-month warranty on the main unit itself. So if this breaks after 3 months, it's $30, so that's nothing. So let's give it a go, see how it goes. Okay, so I've just been messing around with this for a few minutes and I've removed some of these components and it seems to do a pretty good job. This is a fairly thick board, it's got lots of layers in it. This is an old Pentium 4A7 socket, it doesn't say anywhere on it, I don't know what it is. Anyway, so it's a fairly thick board, so it uses a lot of thermal mass. I've got this thing turned up to 400. The maximum temperature is 480 and the minimum is about 150-ish. So I don't know what you'd be doing at 150 degrees, but anyway. So yeah, it works quite well. The main thing that I would use one of these things for would be doing capacitor replacements, through-hole capacitor replacements on old boards and stuff. Pretty common fault, like this one I think has got pretty dead capacitors on it already. Let me see. Yeah, they don't look too bad. They could be bad anyway. And stuff like these little Molex connectors. Even removed a pin header, which I'm quite proud of. I've been trying to remove these using hot air before and it just destroys them because there's not much in them. They're just a little bit of plastic and it'd be nice to be able to save them. I've removed this little doodad here. I don't know what this thing is. Relay or something? I don't know. There's the part anyway. It's probably out of focus, but yeah, so let's give it a go on the camera. So what I'm going to do is I've got the 1mm tip, so I can't remove big things like these. I can't remove big things like these chokes and stuff, but I can remove like this capacitor here. So let's have a look. Okay, this is that board I used as a DOS gaming computer, but I ended up stealing some components off the board to fix my GPU. So let's remove one of these newer capacitors that I fitted a while ago, so let's see how it goes, shall we? Let's give it a go. I think that got it. Nope, fell out. Ta-da! I can reuse that one again. Oh, ha ha. Yeah, I'll go through and remove all these capacitors just for fun. How's that sound? Cool, so it seems to take them out fine. Let's see. No real damage to the board. I pressed a bit hard in one spot and sort of ripped off some of the mask there. You can't see it's out of focus, but yeah. I'm going to pause this one because it'll probably take a while. I'm going to try and move something a bit more scrupulous, like this 8x PCI connector. I'll be back in a minute and see if I'm successful. And I'm sure if I practiced a bit more, I've never used one of these machines before, so I'm not the best at it, but shrink, came out. Now this isn't 1mm pin pitch, this is probably, the 0.8 would probably work better. I'm just using the standard 1mm. It did an alright job. As I said, I haven't used one of these with things before, so I'll have to practice with it a bit more, but the actual part itself isn't damaged. I did damage one of the pads on the board by wiggling it a bit too much, but yeah, this thing seems to work quite well. So I'm going to go through here, I'm going to remove some more of these connectors and I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, so I went a bit crazy removing different parts. I got the battery connector out and some capacitors and crystals and little edge connector thing, and yeah, it holds up pretty well. It has a bit of trouble with really big ground planes. Like I said, this board is a few layers thick. I don't know how many layers thick it is, but it's got huge ground planes in it, and yeah, so I didn't expect it to be able to just desolder everything, and some of these components were just too big for this tip I'm using at the moment. But yeah, it works really well, and it's something I could honestly recommend, especially if you're looking to do repairs on older consoles, older PCs and things like that. Stuff where it's mostly all through-hole stuff, like ICs and things like that on arcade boards and things. Okay, so that's what it looks like when you get all the solder out. It's a bit messy trying to get it out, but yeah, I guess practice makes perfect. So thanks again to the guys over at RhinoTools for sending out this unit for me to review, and don't forget to check out my website, and there's going to be plenty more reviews on there. There's some reviews of some tools they sent me, and there'll be a review of this one, a written up review. It'll have a few extra things in there that I find as I keep on using it over the next week or so. So yeah, so thanks for watching, and please subscribe. Catch you next time.